I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for Investment Pitch Media, and today on the Crypto Coin Show we have Bobby Zagotta, CEO of Bitstamp USA and Chief Commercial Officer of Bitstamp. Bobby, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for taking the time.
Hey Ashton, great to be here.
You're very welcome. I know Bitstamp for so long now. I believe it's the world's longest running crypto exchange, which is incredible to still be around, and I'm sure that the industry has already expanded and pivoted 100 times since then. So I'm so happy to have you on the show in what I think is an amazing time in cryptocurrency, and we're only continuing to grow despite the crazy things that have happened in the last year or so. I think it's all good for the industry, and I'm excited to dive into Bitstamp today with you. But I would love to start off our conversation with just a little bit from you personally and your journey starting the exchange and going through a decade of crypto expanding, and then we'll dive into all the details. So would love to just hear a little bit about it personally.
Sure. Well, I've been with Bitstamp for a year and a half. I joined as CEO for the Americas, and since then I've also taken on, as you mentioned, a global chief commercial officer role. Prior to this, I was at another crypto exchange, Kraken, where I was chief commercial officer for 3 years. Had a great experience there, learned a lot, and I think contributed to a lot of their growth. Before that, interestingly enough, I was on the traditional financial services side at a company called CME Group, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, which is Fortune 500 kind of publicly traded global derivatives platform and exchange, and it was there that I got involved and interested in crypto. One of my responsibilities as a member of the leadership team there was to oversee our venture capital arm, CME Ventures, and we started investing in crypto and blockchain technology companies in 2014, and that's really what captured my imagination and sent me down this path.
Amazing. And I think 2014 was that year that all the big players, although they didn't maybe announce it, they all started getting really interested in it, and just the growth that's happened since then, it's just been exponential. So I'm glad you've dived into the cryptocurrency exchanges directly and just put your hands right in the dirt with Web3, because I feel like it's a great time still, and there's still a lot expanding. Now over to Bitstamp. Bitstamp's been around. I first heard of Bitcoin in 2013, 2014, and I knew at the time all the best people were using Bitstamp. And still, it's one of those best exchanges. And you mentioned Kraken there as well. I know that's a top tier exchange as well. So it's great to have experience with both. In terms of the use of cryptocurrency exchanges for everyday traders inside America and outside, what do you think is the reason that Bitstamp has been so popular and continues to be one of the best over years and years of different exchanges coming and going, yet Bitstamp is still here?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, Ashton, Bitstamp is the longest running cryptocurrency exchange, founded in 2011. And the founders, had a particular belief and idea in mind when they started the company, and that still infuses the DNA of the organization and everything that we stand for. And that was really about broad adoption of cryptocurrency. In other words, the founders believed, and still do, that this is a very, very important technology for all the right reasons. It creates financial inclusion and independence, and that's just becoming more and more important in the world. Now, what the founders also did differently than many others in the space, which has really contributed to our longevity, is that they embraced regulation early on. So Bitstamp was the first cryptocurrency exchange, maybe the first crypto company that ever had a regulatory license, which was in Luxembourg in 2016. Was our first regulatory license. We now have 50, and we're well regulated around the world. We've invested heavily in compliance In fact, a third of our entire, personnel are dedicated to compliance and risk and legal reg-related functions. Now, not many companies in 2016 through 2023 invested as heavily as we did, and frankly, Bitstamp has never gotten much credit for it until recently, as the world has become a little bit more aware of the risks associated with with partnering with companies where you really don't know what they're doing or where they came from.
Yeah, no, that's great to know about a third of the personnel. That's crazy, but obviously it's important, and I feel like that's part of the reason for sure that Bitstamp's been around for 10 years, and it wasn't as much of an issue before. But now, as we saw in 2022, and just throughout the years as well, I feel like one of the other points is just having that security and the regulation, but also just the security of users' information and funds to not have a hack or an exploit. FTX or Mt. Gox, even some of the New Zealand exchanges, Canadian exchanges, they've all at one point or another, there was a hack that lost users' funds or lost users' personal information, sort of lost the trust. And from what I understand, nothing catastrophic has happened to Bitstamp, and it's like, as long as they're good and like they've protected their customers from harm's way, and like every year that nothing happens, like that just continues to build more trust, and they have the longest track record of any cryptocurrency exchange.
That's right. So Bitstamp, just to go a little bit deeper on the DNA of the company, straight from the founders, is just, we're a company built on trust, and we're a company that does things right. So to your point, our 5 million or so clients, that they have grown to appreciate that trust and the transparency that we have provided all along the way, which is why they're still with us. I'll give you one more example of, Bitstamp being a company that does things right. Bitstamp is also likely the only crypto company that has a Big Four global financial audit every year, and has been doing it. We've been doing it for 6 years, or starting in 2016. Now, we're not required to do that by law or anything like that. We could go without an audit. We're a private company. We could go with an audit by a second or third tier auditing firm. No, we work with a Big Four accounting firm. We've done it globally for 6 years, and let me tell you, that is a rigorous process. And just the fact that every element of our business is going to be audited, creates a culture by which we maintain integrity and control in everything that we do. So again, this is not cheap to do. It's resource intense, but it's the right thing. Because why? Because we want to make sure everyone knows, our customers, the institutions who are our customers, and also regulators, that we run a tight ship.
Definitely. And after the FTX crash last year, there was all these rumors and social media spread around other exchanges and whether they were solvent or not. And not once, anywhere did I even see the name Bitstamp. There was no concern whatsoever. Where there was a lot of them that everything seems to be fine, but there was a lot of names thrown out there. But that was one that was never on the table. So that's a good sign. And now, I know you're very focused on regulation. I'm curious about the balance of growing, and as the industry grows as well, to consider new products or new ways to capture more customers, and the regulation. There's more products that are coming in, whether TradFi or hybrid products or options, derivatives, things like that, and they all have different regulation behind them as well. Is there a consideration of balancing, the amount of regulation versus innovation?
Yeah, for sure. As a product company, we have to continue to innovate, and we have to continue to deliver a great experience. And at Bitstamp, again, we've been around for 11 years, so we've lived through market cycles, and we have a playbook for it. And that playbook is basically to take advantage of this bear market to focus on our product and really perfect the experience, both for retail users and for corporate users, institutions. So we are doing a lot of work right now on product, and just to give you a few examples, we have a product called Bitstamp as a Service. It's a white label offering by which a bank or a fintech company or some other type of organization who wants to offer cryptocurrency buying and selling to their clients can do that in a very turnkey way through Bitstamp. We have the regulatory foundation and cover. We have all the onboarding and KYC processes. We of course have the platform for very efficient liquid markets to buy and sell cryptocurrency, and that's an offering that even in this bear market is getting a lot of attention, because in my opinion, the smart companies who are not offering crypto to their customers recognize that there is a growing demand. That demand isn't going to go away. So if they get caught flat-footed in another bull market, it could be a problem. So that's a key focus on the institutional side. We're also in the process of getting ready to launch a new experience for retail buying and selling that we think is quite creative and interesting. I can't talk too much about it yet, but we'll be launching it next month. We're really excited about it.
Well, that is exciting. And I'm curious on if there's a strategy or position around like the marketing to new customers, and how focused you are on gaining new customers versus appeasing the current customers, because I venture around crypto Twitter and the crypto news a little bit, and I don't see Bitstamp as often in the media, although I know they're doing well, whereas some other cryptocurrency exchanges are like aggressively marketing or pushing leverage and trading competitions and all these kinds of things. Where do you guys sort of stand with that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. And from a Bitstamp perspective, kind of our approach has always been to communicate mostly with our actions. So with our product and with the user experience, and also with our regulatory footprint and commitment and licenses. So that really helps users and people who are aware of Bitstamp to understand where we stand. Now, in addition to that, at this moment, given there's so much focus on trust and, coming out of the FTX debacle, we're also trying to be more visible. Yeah, we're trying to elevate our voice, but you will never see Bitstamp, naming stadiums or doing Super Bowl ads. I think that's misplaced, in my opinion. Why? Because firstly, I think if you're investing that heavily in a marketing campaign like naming a stadium, you probably don't understand your business, right? Because you need to be, particularly if you're an early stage company, you need to be plowing that money into the product, not naming a stadium. And then secondly, if you're doing these types of mass marketing, very high dollar investment, it's probably not intelligent marketing. And crypto is a fairly sophisticated product. It needs to, in my opinion, the marketing needs to be content led, not brand on the side of a building.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, Bobby. And FTX and Crypto.com spent tens and tens of millions naming stadiums, only to disappoint for the most part. The users and the people that they saw get ripped down a year later. So I think it's a very smart move. And now we don't have a lot of time left, Bobby, but I want to look towards the future and hopefully the next coming bull runs, and there will be. It's just a matter of when. And you mentioned it slightly there. One of the things that your team's planning on the retail investor side. Is there anything else that you have in store that people can be excited for 2023 and initiatives that Bitstamp is launching?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things we're really excited about is our Learn Center. So one of the things that we've observed is particularly as we move up the adoption curve, in other words, the people who got into the crypto markets in 2017, 2018, 2019 were by and large pretty sophisticated from a technology standpoint and from a crypto standpoint. But the users who are coming on today and will be coming on in 24, 25, these are a different style of user, I think, with perhaps more questions or less sophistication around these topics. And where do you go? It's not like there's a shortage of information. There's a flood of information. But the problem is much of that information is not useful. It's either biased. It's like shilling a product behind it, or it's not from a credible source. And so we aim to try to address that for users by creating this Learn Center. So the Learn Center is populated by several hundred bite-sized articles and videos that anyone, whether they're a Bitstamp customer or not, can go to get straight answers and concrete information. Everything from what is staking to what is Aave and what's the Aave ecosystem, which is a crypto, to who is Senator Lummis in the U.S. who sponsored a bill in cryptocurrency. So there's really useful and relevant and timely information. We're adding to that all the time, but I think that's a really useful and unique way to get engaged in the market.
I agree, and I think unbiased education. It's so hard to tell. Just going through YouTubers and people that are pumping the prices and all of these kinds of things, just to get a credible source of information from a cryptocurrency exchange that's been around for 11, 12 years, I would say it's going to be reputable information. I'm looking forward to seeing when that comes out. For the viewers that want to learn more about Bitstamp, what products you guys have right now, the communities, and to follow along for that retail release that you mentioned and for this Learn Center, what is the best way for people to learn more?
Yeah, bitstamp.net. That's our website. Everything is accessible there, and our blogs are there where we talk about product and product launches. So that's also where the Learn Center is, where you can get involved immediately. So that's the best way. And then, of course, I'm out there, and the rest of our executives are out there talking about it too.
Sounds great, Bobby. Thank you so much for the time. I'll put the Bitstamp platform link in the description box below as well. All the best with everything crypto moving forward in 2023, and let's follow up in the near future.
Thank you, Ashton.